The Philippine Constabulary. The old-school Philippine police force. The Philippine Constabulary was established on August 18, 1901 by the Americans to maintain peace, law and order under the military of the U.S. forces occupying the islands. By the end of 1901 a total of 180 officers, both Filipino and Americans, had been commissioned in the constabulary forces. Captain Henry T. Allen, a graduate of West Point, was the first chief of the Philippine Constabulary, and also known as the father of the Philippine Constabulary forces. In 1905, Constabulary School was established at the Santa Lucia Barracks in Intramuros. In 1916 it was officially named Academy of the Philippine Constabulary, and later became Philippine Constabulary Academy in 1926. On December 21, 1935, when the National Defense Act was passed and approved, which is sponsored by Senator Haji Butu Abdulbaki, Philippine Constabulary Academy became Philippine Military Academy by year 1936, which is located in Baguio City at Camp Gregorio H. Del Pilar. General Rafael Cramy was the first Filipino appointed as the chief of the Philippine Constabulary on December 17, 1917. General Cramy was born in Malabon, studied at Ateneo de Manila and taken up a course in a Spanish military academy. He rose to prominence by leading successful campaigns of the Philippine Constabulary against several criminal gangs, mostly in the provinces. The American Medal of Valor was awarded to him for helping quash a mutiny in Manila in 1921. He died on January 1, 1927. In 1936, Philippine Constabulary became a state police. After being serving as a military police, Philippine Constabulary was a division of the Philippine Army at that time. In 1938, the state police was abolished. It was revived as military police and reconstituted as separate organization from the Philippine Army. By 1941, after the proclamation of state of emergency by the U.S. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt, in the United States and all of its territories including the Philippines, the Philippine Constabulary was inducted to the United States Army Forces in the Far East, and was formed into 3 infantry regiments for participation in national defense. When Bataan fell on April 9, 1942, and thousands of Filipino-American servicemen who had defended it became prisoners of war. A large number of constabulary men died in the battle and in the infamous Bataan Death March. Many more died at the concentration camp in Tarlac. During the Japanese occupation, the enemy, through the use of force and threats, organized their version of the Philippine Constabulary, which they called the Bureau of Constabulary. It was later renamed to match the pre-war constabulary with the creation of the Second Republic. A handful of former PC officers and men were rounded up and forced to work with this outfit, with the threat that their loved ones would be harmed. Majority of the men who escaped managed to find their way into the hills, where they joined the resistance movement until liberation came in 1944. After the liberation campaigns in the late 1944 to 1945, the Constabulary went on active service with the Philippine Commonwealth Army under President Sergio Osmeña's Executive Order 21, dated October 28, 1944. In the reorganization that followed, the Military Police Command, USAFI, was created pursuant to USAFI General Orders No. 50. Another order, General Orders No. 51 dated July 7, 1945, redesignated the organization as MPC, Armed Forces West Pacific. A major revamp in the armed forces was effected on 30th of March, 1950, when President Elpidio Quirino issued Executive Order No. 308, which called for the merger of the Philippine Constabulary with the Armed Forces, making it one more major service command. This was the second time the PC returned to a military force. Due to the unstable peace and order conditions existing in the countrysides brought about by the resurgence of the Hukbalahap rebels, which require more personnel strength, the Philippine Army was called upon to assist in the pacification drive with the employment of its combat arms. On April 1, 1950, by the Administrative Order No. 113, the PC was formally merged with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. The merger was completed on July 27, the same year. Under the EO, the power of executive supervision and all authority and duties exercised by the Secretary of Interior concerning the PC or its members were transferred to, and exercised by the Secretary of National Defense. On July 14, 1967, President Ferdinand Marcos directed the organization of a special force to be known as the PC Metropolitan Command, or Metrocom. It was to operate in the cities and municipalities of Metro Manila and Quezon City, and expanded its reach the following year and became Metropolitan Area Command to prevent increasing crimes, including smuggling and illegal fishing in the Greater Manila area. In 1975, during the President Marcos time, the PC officially integrated the nation's municipal and city police, fire department, or now Bureau of Fire Protection, separated from police force, and the penitentiary services, which is now under the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, which from 1974 onward, formed the Integrated National Police, into the service. Thus the PC became the Philippine Constabulary Integrated National Police, PC-INP, as per the provisions of Presidential Decree 765, enacted on August 8 the same year, that formally fused the two services into one joint service, with joint command resting with the Chief of the PC. Which means the PC serve as police, fire control, and jail guards under the PC-INP command. On December 13, 1990, Republic Act No. 6975, the Department of the Interior, and Local Government Act of 1990 paved the way for a new era, for Philippine law enforcement, as the law ordered the total merger of both the Philippine Constabulary, and the Integrated National Police, and formally created, the Philippine National Police. On January 29, 1991, the INP was subsumed into the PC to form the Philippine National Police, or PNP.